Hello, everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Hey ho, waka waka. Google was super bad. Microsoft was a beat, top and bottom. Uh, but you got to peel back the covers on Microsoft, and interesting guidance or lack of specific guidance from a bunch of stuff. Happy October, George. Waka thinks Amazon's going to be bad, especially Microsoft's cloud services. It just looks like increased costs. I don't think they grew the revenue on cloud services unless I looked at it too quickly, which I might have because the person to tune up my generator, because you got to have the house running a whole house generator, in case power goes out. I can't be losing power here. Can't be losing power. What's a trader to do if you lose power? So they came literally 325 to tune up the generator after all day. 325. In case you're wondering, the live stream is 3:30 Central Time. So I said, if there's an issue, please text me because I will be on a live stream. So I can hear it running now. So probably got the oil changed going into winter. That's a good thing. You probably didn't need to know that. Y'all, Waka thinks Apple's going to be bad. So that would be a bad Apple then. Gary's going to be selling tomorrow. These rips-ups are just setting up bulls. What time is the slaughterhouse for the bulls? What's the time frame, Waka? You got to give a time frame. Because, yes, it will roll over again. Is it in the next week is the slaughterhouse, or in the next couple months? You got to give a time frame for your projections. Rich is thinking tomorrow may be ugly. Let's see. Coco, what a sham. Mexican food beat Google Misc. Why is that a sham? So I did not see Chipotle. I did not get a chance to look at that. I was scrolling through my earnings and generator tune-up. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Waka, you're just so bearish. Good afternoon, Sashi. Hello, Vertical Dimension / Amit. Epic rally continues, but could be nearing a rollover. Well, I'm watching for at least a short-term little toppy pattern now. Overbought conditions. Dollar strong. What were you looking at? Oh, from the past. I was like, not today. It wasn't. Again, time frame matters. Dollar's been strong. Today, the dollar was not strong. Oh boy, Gary thinks airlines will continue doing well. Yes, hello Gary. All right. By the way, we had that sound price data coming up. Bob won't be on this today. He will be back on Thursday, and he should be here Friday morning for the PCE numbers. So Thursday afternoon, Friday morning for Bob. So you just get me today as the numbers drop rapidly. So good afternoon, traders. Williams neutral. Ooh, my smoke and mirrors. Strong. What? I'm not understanding all these comments. I did not get to TXN yet. Oh boy. Coco, what is your definition of pivot? Because I hear people saying 75 to 50 is a pivot. Are you talking about a real pivot, like they're going to cut rates, or to abandon QE and go to, QT and go to QE? Because we got to get on this page for terms here. A pivot is not a pause, is not a pivot. A slowdown in interest rate hikes is not a pivot. It just means they're slowing down their hikes. A pivot is a cut. On this channel, pivot means cut. Or pivot means we're going back to QE. At least a pause would be we're stopping QT. A pivot would be we're going to QE. So I want to know if we're going to use those terms if you're on this channel. If you're not going to use those terms, And we're going to solidify them now because I'm not going to keep asking. So, pivot. So they're going to cut. No, they're going to cut rates. In what time frame? Because I want to get you on for a specific time frame. Because they're not cutting in November, so they're cutting in December. They're going from a 75 raise in November to a cut in December, or are we talking next year? I'm trying to get everybody, if you're going to throw stuff around, you got to be specific. We're not just, because eventually they will cut. And I don't want somebody coming on if they cut next July or next June and say, see, I told you they cut. I told you they pivot. Well, yeah, but it's like, over 6 months from now. Doesn't do a thing. Consumer confidence was a big miss. Richmond Fed, big slowdown. So these were pretty more substantially bearish, but the market just shrugged everything off. So that's where we sit. Here's a market. It's going to be a little different after the close once it reopens. But you see, before earnings, Microsoft was up. Apple, remember, Thursday afternoon. Google was up and then got smacked with earnings. Meta, remember, is tomorrow. Amazon's on Thursday. Tesla got the rally, looking like Elon's closing the Twitter deal on Friday. So that's where we sit with that. Your sector, I didn't refresh this. I was dealing. You see, everything across the board was up today. FOMC still, I don't know who's positioning for this, but we got that 75 baked in. I'm more interested in watching for December at this point. Okay, so it's 50 to 47 for a 70. It's pretty much a coin toss. I don't see any cut on here. And it's only 2% of a 25 basis point. So anybody who says cut in December, which is Coco, you gotta put away the good stuff. You gotta put away the good stuff. Hello, Connor. I mean, there's nothing priced in like a cut. It's not going to happen. Even if we had some major stuff, financial unraveling, the most it would go was to a pause. It would not be a cut. The most it would be, there's something cracked, something broke. We're going to reassess and we're not going to hike. It's not going to be a cut. Yeah, I'm holding you. If you're going to come in here and say you're going to be led to slaughter, I want to know, is it? Yeah, we'll roll over. Long-term stuff is still negative. You know what? I'm not asking for a specific date, but you say it's going to be led to slaughter. Are you looking by, I'll give you the next 2 weeks or next 2 months? Narrow it up a bit. Does Rishi make it 90 days a new Prime Minister of England? God, that guy actually scares me. We got a giant squid in the PM. Digital currencies galore. Oh boy. I hope it's not 90 days. Who knows? Because it's with the global elites, I throw him in supporting the global elites. It'll probably be longer than 90 days. I hope we aren't just relying on Powell to cut just in. Yeah, this is Fed independence. I don't. All right, because all right, hold on. Yes, I did see that. Okay. Yes. Cheryl Brown wrote to Powell and citing you have, one of your mandates. The other mandate is price stability, which involves getting down inflation. That one was ignored, and we're still at very strong employment. So they're going to use that as an excuse. They've already said we could see unemployment to 4.5%. We're still at 3.5%. Even if it's an uglier job reports from October in November, you're still... You might, tick up to 3.7, 3.8? So I'm not buying it. Still, I gotta get this. They've not been updating this. We are still technically in negative gamma. Up towards neutral. Almost made it to greed. Almost. That was a quick flip, but we got out of fear, extreme fear, and fear up in the neutral, so we can start watching. This is a great counter indicator, by the way. It's free. But we already talked earnings, Microsoft, Alphabet, Visa. Visa, I gotta look in at Visa and Chipotle. I was looking at that before, and I did not see the print come through yet. We got the from Coco that Chipotle was good. Tomorrow, Boeing, Waste Management. Waste Management is another potentially very good long-term play, just not at a good spot right now. You ask how I like Intel. Waste Management needs a substantial pullback, but on the next major pullback, I will keep an eye on Waste Management for a long-term play. Just wanted to mention that, and that's not with earnings tomorrow. Going to keep an eye on Kraft Heinz just from the value play and consumer inflation, see where that comes out. And then for all you hog fans, we got Harley Davidson. That should, I think they should have not be as very strong. And then Meta after the close tomorrow. So let's just get to it. We ran up today. Let me just see if there's any more comments first. Is Elon good on funding the cash for the Twitter purchase? Was expected him selling into the day's strength? We don't know. Again, we don't know. So, might have lined up other, who knows? I don't see banks, banks that are already committed, so they're going to be eating this. It's going to be interesting. It's just going to be interesting. By the way, where did Twitter close? Where did the Twitter close? So funny, it's still not trading at that 54.20. Still funny it's not there. Is Elon going to figure out a shenanigan before Friday? I mean, he did say it was going to close. All right. Well, you're welcome, Connor. I'm trying to teach you a lot of things, just like I talked about who was here for the open. If you're I told you the base right here, the base where we didn't get the tick. I mean, we went for, and I think the time frame Central Time before we hit tick 0 was 9/11, if I remember correctly. So running up, even with the bad Richmond Fed and consumer confidence numbers, which we got the little pause. But here was I said, watch for this sideways, and then boom. Pretty strong trend day, by the way. I flipped to, I also updated the head and shoulders pattern to the traditional targets. So that's why you'll see those differently. I also put on the reverse harmonics for anybody wanting to learn stuff. There are your reverse harmonics. So my next intraday key level was 38.59. We poked above it ever so briefly, stalled out, and then reversed. Now, I am definitely watching for a pullback. Why am I watching for a pullback? We are at a very toppy area. We're entering the overbought area conditions that I start watching. So I'm starting now more aggressively to watch for a topping area. Is that to go to new lows? Not anywhere close just yet. Why do I say that? Because we still have the key resistance becoming support at 3,800 and the big gamma wall there. We have the rotation zone, the possible kiss and neckline goodbye, so we could easily pull back but stay within the short-term uptrend. So I can go for pullback mode, but I can't go for bloodbath mode. There's nothing to say there. We don't have strong topping patterns. We don't have a ton of weakness just yet. So I can definitely go with pullback mode because of where, especially this end of day price action. Key pullback area I'm watching in the 4-hour rotation zone. One of the key points is back at 3,800, essentially. 3,794, 3,800. Next is even 3,770, so you have a lot of support in here. Lots of support. Next level's higher. And we got cycles at the top. Now remember, weekly cycles aren't at the top yet. We have some more room to run on the weekly. So we could get the pullback and then get the topping pattern in the weekly. Then I will be more watching for the bigger toppy play. Unless we get price action that shows us a toppy play, which we do not have a daily toppy pattern or a 4-hour toppy pattern. We have some selling right here for a very short-term toppy pattern. Potential toppy pattern. NASDAQ returning. I'm watching this. Come on, everything. Key support I'm keying off of is about 11,500. And then below that, let me move some of this down. And then below that, back to major support 11,400, 11,420. I'm watching in this 4-hour rotation zone. There's a lot to chew through here. No change on the head and shoulder patterns, and tapping that 50 and reacting. By the way, there are no reverse. We can now do the reverse harmonics here. Why? Because we've blown through the forward harmonics. Retested this high area after the close back above the 62.5. Retested the high area. Now you can also use reverse harmonics, which reinforces 11,850 to 11,885. The first area is the stop reduction for the head and shoulders. You have a harmonic stop reduction target also, and a little minor breakdown area right there. And then that reinforces the next key target. You have now a triple cluster area. We actually have a quad cluster area. Let's zoom in. We have a harmonic. We have the 62.5 retracement from the highs on the 13th of September to the lows on Thursday, October 6th. We have a emotional candle breakdown area. We have the second target for the head and shoulders. So we got a quad target area up there. Again, for any pullback, it has to pull back substantially. If you're using a very aggressive stop level for the head and shoulders, the walk away trend line, for the people who know about that concept, is this line right here that you'd at least need to close below on a daily basis. I prefer the running 62.5 stop. Let's see. Where do we sit? Oh no, not Dennis Gartman. Oh no, so that means their pivot's coming sooner, huh, Sterling? And not in December, but man, are they going to pivot now? He's notoriously wrong. So, all right, plan for the sooner pivot, but not this year. 1 hour double top on the NASDAQ. Yeah, it's probably already. Hey, Sterling, could you measure that one out for me? That double on the NASDAQ real quick. Let me know if it qualifies that or not. See, that's only a pullback, still not even that key area if it's valid. I need that to measure it out. I'll buy beer and wine stocks and shut up. Why are you shutting up, Gary? JJ. Hey, JJ. Fed rate, the most I would say for early 20 to slow down in the rate cuts from 75 to 25. I agree, see. I think we got another smart person tuning in who's paying attention to the Fed. We could slow down to 50 in December. They could squeak in another 25 in Feb. Remember. Hey, JJ, if you're new here and you like what we do, please consider sticking around. I love to see new faces in the chat. And thank you for jumping on in the chat. That's the way you do it here. That's the way you do it. Remember, you look up here. If you ever forget what your Fed meetings, we got the 2nd of November, 14th of December, and nothing in January. So 1st of Feb, and that could be 25. Okay? Or it could be, you know, right now, depending on what they do in December, it could be a pause to 25. Still favors to 25 if they go with 50 in December. So, earnings is why I no longer hold stocks and just do indices. Fair enough. It's, you know, especially in challenging earnings markets, when you get earnings expanding and you're out of a recession and everything, it's a lot easier to play earnings. This is a tough environment to play earnings. Waka. We'll still be talking about the Fed pivot at 26%. I don't think we're going to hit 26% inflation. CMG, Chipotle beat, blowing up and after hours. Let's just peek at Chipotle. I mean, we had Coco in here. Is it blowing up? Is it blowing up? Let's see. Let's see where you're into, by the way. 1606 stop reduction, 1624 the next target, and into a clear path move here. Into a clear path move. This was fun. Chipotle coming back down, but just poking below the 50 to 62.5 with some strong reversals, and then breaking the upside. You do have a clear path move right here. That's why I wanted to bring. Why? There it goes. Hold on. There it goes. That was better. Now, I know we got Chipotle traders here. The next major key areas in front of this gap fill is 1637. Do not ignore 1637 for any of those Chipotle players. And now key support back at about 1590. So, how they missed on revenue, though. Missed on revenue, beat on earnings. So little revenue miss there. What else do we have going on today? Visa, did somebody have the Visa results? Because we had a double bottom in Visa. Let's see. You guys are really, where did you get in, Gary? You guys are acting like this is going to be back down at the lows. So, let's see. All right, the 1 hour double top NASDAQ does not qualify. Thank you, Sterling. So, no. On any down move, you're still watching the breakout area from the clear path. So your breakout area from the 1 hour clear path is there, 11,495, right in front of that, right behind the 11,5, and your end of the clear path move is 11,465 area. So that's the key area I'd watch for. I would not use the targets. That's your first two targets. Then if you get back down, it's 11,418. It's how you get consistent with your analysis. Thank you. Oh, well, see, Jim's gonna blow up the markets too. He said going into November, we could still see a continued rally. That's your walk away. Oh, why does that go? There's your walk away trend line. Let's see. Is there a potential double top of the daily DX? Yes, there is. Let's get to that. Let's get to some participation here. Yes, I need a weekly close. And it is a lower probability variety. Why? Because the first target is beyond the weekly rotation zone. Please do keep that in mind, but it is it's still high. It's still well higher than 50% probabilities. You just have to, this is where I more aggressively, from a short perspective, move down a stop. I don't wait for this because of the way the probabilities shift. Because this could slam down into the rotation zone and then move back up. But this is a weekly double top on the dollar index. You'd need a weekly close below 109.87. What's interesting is the daily's out of the way. By the way, I said once we start broken that, watch for that 110.50, 110.47 area. And dead stop to that. Why? It was a harmonic and it was the 50. So we still have some pretty key support in here also. You still have some pretty key support at 110.06, 110, 110.06. That's got to chew through. So this is going to be interesting, especially now with daily cycles getting back to the bottom and weekly cycles still headed down. So this will be interesting. I know some people have been making calls that the yearly top is in for the dollar. VIX closing right at that 50. Confirming the double top, did it technically trigger? 28.50 is a key point. 28.47, so double top in the VIX technically triggered. Only invalidated on a VIX close above 32.27 or a VIX trade through 33.02. So this technically favors continued bullish price action. Dow, by the way, closing in on the third target. Closing in. Could we, now, this is, I'll just give another little tip here. Given that we might see the NASDAQ and the S&P pulling back, the Dow has not reacted much because, again, it's only 30 stocks and you didn't have anything that got crushed from an earnings perspective in it. However, when I get this close with other topping patterns, I don't want to sit through a pretty big pullback to try to eke out a few more cents. Okay? I like to unwind something up here, especially on an overnight pullback, and then on another pullback, reestablish a key area. Now, remember, we did close above 62.5, so we should still see 32,270. Not guaranteed, but probabilities very high that we should see that. So I will be watching for the pullback. And we have a little more of a substantial clear path move on the daily, but this is where you go because you got a daily clear path. You're going to dial it down to the pausing areas on the 4-hour to watch for your support. So this pausing area, minor pausing area. So overnight, I will be watching 31.4. If we get the bigger pullback, the smaller pullback, 31.550. Google, or sorry, Alphabet, couldn't they just leave it named the same? Couldn't they just named it the same? Left it the same? Doing the 200-week MA? Yeah, it's nearing it. And this is the key support zone. I'm expecting, by the way, starting once we get the next major rollover play, for Google to retrace a lot more with some earnings compression. But this is going to be your very key short-term support area. Do not ignore these weekly 200s. Do not ignore that. Yes, that's your Class C stock and your Class A stock. They trade nearly the same. But that's right there. And I normally follow the Class A stock. And my key level's 88.36 though for the bigger breakdown pattern. Hold on one second. Oh. Sorry, I thought that might be the generator guy. So, where do we sit? What else do we have? Notes today. Notes back to the weekly rotation zone, back to the breakdown area, finding some pretty key resistance there. No, this is not a double top just yet. That's what I'm watching for, but for a short-term pausing pattern. But there's been some pretty strong, very strange buying pressure in here. Even more than I suspected. I don't know what's going on. I did retweet something on my personal Twitter feed. But still watching for a topping pattern. That would be a topping pattern in front of the 200. Dollar index, we've already went over. VIX, we went over. Crude. Come on, crude. Crude still holding congestion right here. Yes, the double still technically is in play. Technically, just barely. Might not be anymore. No, yeah, it is still in play. Yep. That's the only thing, but this could, if it stays in consolidation much longer, it will be invalidated. I'll have to do the count out for it. What else do we have? This, back to dollar index stuff, this cannot be, with the amount of tanking in the dollar index. We had a little strength in the yen, but now just sitting here. This is not the kind of pullback the Bank of Japan wanted. They wanted a much stronger pullback. This is fascinating. This is fascinating because with the amount of the dollar weakness today, and you can see it in some euro strength and the pound strength right here, we did not get that yen did not get a ton of strength. The only thing I'm keeping an eye on, yes, this is a valid potential double bottom. It's a little sloppy, and it is against the weekly rotation zone. Need a weekly close above this point. Netflix. You guys really love to trade some of the same stocks. Netflix. I'd watch for that pullback now easily, yeah. On any weakness, your now key support is about 276. And even below that, hold on. Your two key support is 276. I'm just going with the overall harmonics versus the gap harmonics at this point. 276 and then 265 is major. So you got a fair amount of support coming in. Without this, it would take a pretty bad market beating before I target this gap fill. So this would just be trailing stop level. getting into overbought with some waning momentum and cycles at the top. So yes, I'd be watching for a pullback, but unless it started breaking down below 264, it would just be a standard pullback. What's my favorite thing at Chipotle? Burrito bowl, no rice. And I generally get extra meat, and I do 2 different kinds of meat. That too specific. And I do both both kinds of beans because I don't do rice. And I do the fajita vegetables. Is this getting too specific? I don't eat at Chipotle that often, but you know what? When I do, I know what I want. I know what I get. Visa, beet. Does anybody have any more specifics on Visa? So up 195 was stop production. By the way, when you get something like this going into earnings just before the stop production point, I use stop production. If you're already in a play like this and you see what was the high today, 195.23, 195.82. When it's that close, I'm not going to screw around going into earnings. So that would be raising the stop with the earnings response. Next targets in Visa, 199.31, 202.81. Although there doesn't seem to be many bullish people in here. It is overbought, but look, even on a pullback here, this actually might give more pullback entries to 189 with the rising rotation zone. What else? Oh, here's another play. This is DuPont, which doesn't have earnings. Because I forgot to mention this the other day. And again, I'm not giving trading advice. I'm just showing people who want to learn some nice patterns, because these play out pretty well. It isn't until November 8th, so this has plenty of time. Would not be surprised at a pullback at this. But we still have, and it's the first and second targets, and then I wouldn't use the final target because it's into the wick. The area I'd be focused on is the gap fill to this key gap open for a third target. Adjusted reward to risk to there. But DuPont is an interesting play even on a pullback. Why you now above the 50 with the rising rotation zone, and this could be used in short-term pullback on a rotation back up. Again, not trading advice. Just wanted to put that out there, and earnings aren't going to get in the way. Visa beat top and bottom line and announced a $12 billion share buyback. Fantastic. Thank you for putting that in there. So also remember the buyback window opens after Friday again for a lot of these companies. Buyback window. It can put in in some sort of stronger floor to the market. So you could, I mean, if you get more of a fourth quarter rally, I know we got a super bears in here, but we could see some of these plays, even on pullback, be some decent trades at least through end of November if the market doesn't do a crap. And it's got to do a lot bigger pullbacks to have the crap play come in. Not saying it can't happen. BTC double top. Remember, please if you want me to look at something, please put a question mark in front of it. BTC on what time? I also put a time frame. This was a little mini double. Yeah, it's played out. Pretty much play. I mean, yeah, you could eke out a little more. But this virtually played out. That's done. Your next thing to watch for, if we get more of a topping pattern, what's this? I'd be more focused on this. And that's just for, again, is it a major topping play? No, it's a 15-minute pattern. So this is not, again, don't confuse short-term patterns with long-term patterns, please. I would tend to, that would be the bet there, Meta tomorrow, since we won't have time in the morning to look at it. You had the big, that's interesting. Oh, that is fascinating. Oh my goodness. Confirmed but not triggered double. Not triggered. Came close. Also, always glance at your weeklies because this against the weekly, but it's not triggered. So this will be interesting because it doesn't have to trigger tomorrow either. Brian, thank you. You know what? I agree with Brian here. Gotta be honest, it endlessly irks me that it's AAPL and not APPL. I completely agree, Brian. I completely agree with you. Thank you for being here. These insane pumps and jumps and mega caps is due to these increasing internal pumping their own stocks so insiders can dump their own stocks at higher levels. Don't get me started on share buybacks. By the way, I did I have that in here? Or did I not? I thought I had that in here about the buybacks. I was going to put up here. My bank rep from Wells Fargo came today and we looked at the monthly chart for the U.S. 2-year. Look at the move since October 2021. You want the... You want me to highlight the move? You mean this move? Now that's a move. That's a move. There you go. There you go. Where did we close today? 4.48. Everything's targeting. See, it's targeting still. This roughly 4.5. 4.5. And if we hike, that's 75 basis points. And now this is a 2-year, but it's still holding up here. Like they're going to do a 75 hike, and then, you know, and then what, a 50? Let's see. I'm going to be cooking pork shoulder in a sous vide this weekend. Takes 30 hours. Well, that sounds excellent. And then what do you, all right, then are you going to turn it into are you going to turn it into pulled pork or what? Roblex. Then I'm, God, I love how that held there. I just want to see short term. There's your key level. 46.13, now back above the 200 with that gap. So on any pullback tomorrow, I'd be watching to see if this 43.50 level holds, or in the next couple days. You're not yet. Your key line in the sand's at 46.13. Visa raised dividends of 45 cents per share. Processing revenue grew 10% year over year. International transactions up 52%. Service revenue is up 11%. Well, Visa's not too shabby. NASDAQ 50. Oh, I really hate doing 15-minute patterns at the end of the day. We can look at it. I mean, that was a breakdown and sort of sloppy channeling flag pattern. But that's only a 15-minute pattern. I mean, it pretty much wiped out the pattern. I mean, we could still get a little bigger pullback, but yeah, that was already done. All right, pulled pork. Yeah, it was pretty valid, Rich. Yes, we know, William. Then I'm going to wrap it up. Boeing. Reports for William tomorrow. Just want to see where that is. I know it would have completed this side virtually, but I want to see on the... So if you got a little more upside, 150.50. That's about... There's your stuff for Boeing at this point. Your key pullback level is going to be 130.70. And key support, if it does gap down on something, is 134. Your major key support that you don't... If that starts breaking, that would not be good. That's the old breakout area. And just behind the trigger on the double. All right. I got to get this wrapped up. I don't think I missed anything major today. Nope. Oh, Tesla. I probably missed Tesla. Tesla. The power move up. Next key levels 227.56, 230.78 against the rotation zone. And yes, this could be, for all the Tesla bulls, that could be a lower probability double bottom. There you go. 242.65, 249.07, 255.50 area. With that, I am going to wrap it up for now. Thank you, Gary. I will be back tomorrow morning. What were the big things? Oh, we didn't go over. Did I go over tomorrow? Hold on. Wait. I did not go over tomorrow morning. We got mortgage applications that should be in the dumpster at 6 Central, 7 building permits, 7:30 trade balance and retail inventories. Unless shouldn't be major moving unless we already have some downside momentum and that comes in very bad. That's about it. Tomorrow's a nothing day. You're going to step up for, remember, Thursday and Friday, and PCE is on Friday morning. PCE Friday. So Thursday and Friday, don't get caught off guard. I don't think anybody in here will get caught off guard because Thursday afternoon we got Apple and Amazon earnings. Thursday morning we have advanced third quarter GDP, which I think is going to come in strong, by the way. So just don't get caught off guard with oh, I hit the wrong thing. I was like, that was last week. For Thursday, we have, where is it? For Thursday, we have the third quarter advanced GDP in durable goods. And then the core PC prices quarter over quarter advanced for Q3. But then on Friday, we have the core PCE for September. So the backwards looking PCE. So Thursday and Friday, Thursday afternoon, Apple and Amazon. So it's going to be an interesting backloaded week. If it goes, since we're at cycle tops, if we start getting this pullback, it's going to be interesting to see what key support holds. That's what I'm going to be watching for. Remember, I love to watch the reactions. The first reaction, short-term trends up. So now we're going to gauge the potential rebound strength of this up move by watching the key pullback. It's going to be very telling. I will leave it at that. Thank you, Vertical Dimension. Microsoft mentioned their PC sales were off bigger than expected, so Apple may be tough. It might be tough. And remind me tomorrow afternoon, we'll look at Apple. We will look at Apple, or if I have time tomorrow morning. I'm expecting a pullback in Apple. Not necessarily for tomorrow, but a pullback in Apple. So that's what we'll be checking out. I'll take a closer look at the chart. This is not a double bottom, by the way. So I'll leave it at that. Everyone have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.